Welcome, everyone, to issue number 14. The topic for the day is being the source of your life. So, what does that mean for me? Well, it means that generally I want to consider myself the source of those things that occur in my life, be they good or bad. One of the things I face in being a criminal defense attorney often is clients who want to blame everyone else for everything else that occurs in their lives. Not only the matter for which they're being accused or brought to court, but for pretty much every other matter possible, right? If they're paying this, or if they're showing up on time, or if they're making it to court on time, or if they're making it to your office on time, or if they're returning phone calls, or if they're giving you the stuff you asked for. Because it seems to me that a lot of that environment, a lot of that, the same kind of people who get caught up in these unfortunate circumstances, many of them at least, are the same kind of people that are going about their lives in a way that they interpret what happens to them as something that happens to them. It's an external force that acts upon their lives and does something to them, right? And so the story is oftentimes, well, I couldn't do anything about it because and I couldn't do it because of, and it's across the board, right? It's men, it's women, it's old, it's young, it's educated, it's uneducated, it's across the board. And there's a ton of this going on, right? Frankly, there's a ton of this outside of the criminal defendant community, frankly, about people not really coming to terms with the fact that living in an environment or living with the attitude or idea that the world's happening to you does two really terrible things. First of all, or two really ineffective things. First of all, it makes you a victim, right? So that the point of view becomes, I'm subject to all of these things that are happening, and there's nothing I can do about it, right? Like I'm a victim to this, and it's just happening, and then I get to whine and make excuses, and there's nothing I can do about it, right? In other words, it's happening to me, and I'm just this victim, right? But there's another aspect of that, right? The other side of the coin is that I can't do anything about it. I can't be proactive, that I can't do and be the source of my life, as opposed to being a victim of things that occur. And so one of the things that I've been working on as I write the book that I'm writing right now on jury trial work and jury trial practice is that I'm having to come to terms with my own challenges of being the source of my life, right? And so where I would a lot of times maybe point the finger and say, man, I can't believe everybody's playing the victim in this, in this matter or that matter. Why are you trying to play the victim? I have to say it to people all the time, man, you are being a victim here. You need to take control of the responsibility for what's going on. And yet here I am writing this book, and then I'm frustrated with myself, and I'll do a little writing, I do a lot of organization, a lot of research, and more organization, more note taking, more research, more note taking, more. And there's a key component missing to this writing of the book, and that is the writing part. and I've been doing a lot of, because I needed to do some more research, or I needed to get this organized, or I needed to get those thoughts organized, or I needed to fix it. And really what that is the same kind of victim mentality, right? It's the same sort of, it's not my fault. I'm not the source of the things that are happening. They're all happening out here. And when I'm in that space, I'm being very unproductive, right? And so it's been a realization for me recently, in the last 24 hours, in fact, for me to see that what's going on with me is that I'm acting in that way, right? I'm behaving in that mindset of, well, I need to get all these things done. The reason I'm not writing is because I don't have all these things done. Well, really, the truth of the reason that I'm writing is not writing yet is that I haven't taken these fingers of mine and put them on the keyboard and started doing like this and writing words, right? I mean, it's really the only excuse. There's only one reason I haven't written. It's because I haven't started writing. And so what's the solution, right? Well, now I see the problem, right? That I'm not being the source. And so how do I sort of embrace that idea that I'm the source of my life? What's the next step, right? Now that I've noticed the problem. And so for me, it's about finding a spiritual connection to the source, to the voice inside of me, to that part of me that says, if I take this action and I do this right, and I do it from an honest and authentic space, meditate about it, focus on it, and I'm authentic about the writing, then the writing will be fine. It won't be perfect. It won't be the best book ever written. It might not be the best book ever written from me. It might not be the best piece of paper best writing I've ever done, period. But it's going to be good, and it's going to be fine, mostly because it's authentic, it's honest, it's from my heart, it is is the product of a considerable professional experience and skill. And so there's no reason for me not to just get at it, right? And so being the source in my life, in this particular instance, has a lot to do with me being confident, me being authentic, me being honest, and me just kind of coming to terms with, hey, you know what? I just need to be the source of this, and I need to do it. I need to feel the power of the realization of certainty and just get this thing done, just start writing. And then see where it goes. Don't like freak out about it and all that kind of stuff. Stop making excuses about the external stuff. And so then we'll come full circle in this conversation, which is that also applicable to, the environment of the criminal defendant, right? What does it look like for my criminal defendants or my clients, and not necessarily related to their charges, but perhaps relating to showing up on time or being in court on time or doing what the court asks them to, or listening to the probation officer. How do you become the source of that? And how do you become the source in those environments, right? And it really has to do with authenticity and honesty and being straightforward, right? Owning your behavior. I had a client call the other day about a probation officer he's aggravating me, man. He's making me do all this stuff, and my answer was, well, yeah, you're on probation. I mean, you pled. You were put yourself in a tough spot. You had to take a plea, and then you got on probation, and now the probation officers, and so you've been on probation for a month, and you don't like it. Yeah, you're not gonna like it. It's gonna be terrible. And perhaps what you can do is work on making the probation officer love you, and respect your honesty, and you're being forthcoming, and you're doing exactly what he or she says to do. And then in 3 months or 6 months, well, maybe they back off, and they give you a little freedom, and they give you a little bit of rope, give you a little bit of leeway, because you've put yourself in the position of being authentic and being honest and being straight and living a good life, right? Living a straight life, living a life congruent with wherever you're at, wherever that may be, even if it's on probation for a felony, whatever it is. Living where you are, right? Owning who you are in the moment. And so that's my message for today. In order for me to be the source of my life, I have to own who I am in the moment today. I have to own where I'm at, and I have to bring an authenticity and a certainty and honesty to that moment. And if I do so, then I'll embrace being the source. And blaming outside sources or outside external forces for my life just starts to not make any sense at that point. I appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you all tomorrow.